I'm like, you always said you wanted to come. She's like, but I'm shy. Like, okay.
We're doing mathematics.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Can We Talk? This is your boy Eric. I'm here with Anthony and Shayna. What's up, y'all?
What's going on?
What's
Shayna's
going on?
calling in.
Shayna's calling in, so she's on the phone with us today. Y'all, today is the day. Spoiler alert.
We need the bell.
Right. Just so y'all know, if y'all checking in today, it's going to be Avengers Endgame spoilers. So if you haven't seen it yet, please
skip this episode and watch it after you've seen it. You know, spoilers abound because we got some stuff we got to talk about.
I know, and it's about to get real and sad. Real sad for me, at least. But I know our engineer hasn't seen it yet, so I'm kind of I don't want to ruin it for her.
I mean, you giving us the go ahead?
Are you sure? All right, cool.
All right. So So how are we gonna summarize this? We're gonna talk about. I don't think we need to summarize the plot. Well, we can for a minute. We can talk about favorite moments, favorite characters, theories we have about the future of Marvel, and I guess just go from there.
I mean, I'm going to do my first overall impression.
Okay.
I do my first impression. I would say this is, and again, I to start off, I love the Avengers series. I think that they've all been well done. This was kind of what I needed. It was 3 hours of great content stuff. It was fun. It was exciting. It was sad. It kind of stroked all your emotions. You got to see the end of some great characters. You got to see sort of the summation of this the 11 years or however long.
21 films.
21 films. You saw the summation of all that into a 3-hour event, and I completely enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Shayna, what you got?
I really enjoyed the film. Despite the plot holes.
There were a few.
Yeah, we'll get into those.
But yeah, I really did enjoy the film. It was sad. For me, I didn't cry though, but it was sad for me, the ending. But I don't think that this is necessarily the end because remember we talked last week that the Spider-Man movie takes place after.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think it's going to end for quite some time. But as far as like the big narrative,
right,
we're heading into the next big narrative that's starting with Far From Home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
And then the next Black Panther.
All right.
Yeah, man. I was on a mission, dog. Me and Shayna, we came from a concert yesterday. Went to see Boogie at St. Andrews, and he was pretty good. And with that, I had suspicion that at that concert I would be hearing somebody in the crowd talking about Endgame. So y'all know me. Y'all know I'm crazy. Me and my girl went at like Thursday at 2 a.m. And
it's nuts.
You know what, man? I got off from work. We both took a power nap. We both got off from work. And then we got up at 1 and headed on down to AMC Gratiot. And the energy in the beginning, there were some people there that was like, all right, man, I'm up in the middle of the night. I hope this is worth it. But as soon as it started, man, everybody was just up and ready to go. And it was just great energy in the building. From start to finish, it didn't feel like 3 hours. It went by real fast. It was great energy, great film. Let me say that. I think low-key, pun intended, I might have to watch this again, but I think it might be the best Marvel film.
Yeah, I'm actually going to see it again tonight.
I'm going to take my mom to see this, man. Take my mom and my dad.
I do want to see it again.
But on your idea of 3 hours and it being worth it and kind of going fast, this is one of the first movies where all 3 hours, I would say majority of that time meant something to the movie. Like, it wasn't just, there were some parts where he was getting to like Thor's whole story we could have glossed over a little bit more.
I was expecting as good as Return of the King was. I was expecting it to be like that. Like, that movie didn't have to be 3.5 hours.
Yeah, and this one had to. I think it had to sort of play a lot of stuff out. And I think it was, like you said, it went pretty fast. I thoroughly enjoyed all 3 hours of it. Like, there were a few points. It was a few points where I thought, like, all right, I don't need to hear about I don't need to hear about Thor or see him getting drunk with these little things on
I
the couch.
thought that was hilarious.
It was funny.
I think everything was needed, man. You had Thor with the dad body. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You had Tony Stark with his daughter retiring. Missing his surrogate son Peter Parker. I think everything was needed, man. And even I love that in the beginning they just took care of it real quick. They chopped off Thanos' head, but you could tell that wasn't the end. It was like, well, what do we do about the people who disappeared? Yeah. And then all of a sudden you see 5 years later. And you see Captain America in a therapy group. And one of the guys who's talking, fun fact, is the co-director, I think it's Joe or Anthony Russo, who's talking about, a date he went on where they had lost loved ones in the snap. And it's bringing kind of like a realist feel to the Marvel universe, like, because Marvel compared to DC is fun and light, but this kind of brought a darkness to it. And the whole film, I look at the whole film as like a fast-paced epilogue.
Yeah.
Just like a conclusion to like the main battle here.
Yeah, and I did appreciate too that they touched on the impact that the people, like the citizens, felt. Like they didn't just see it from the impact of the superheroes, but losing half the population, people losing families, people losing everything. In Thanos, not necessarily attack, but when he snapped his finger. So seeing the side of the civilians was kind of unique, and I'm glad they touched on that. And also kind of seeing how the void that was left for the superheroes, like they felt like there was nothing to fight for, right? And it's almost a weird thing because they were at a point where there was no real conflict. There's kind of peace for everyone. Kind of what Thanos he wanted. He wanted people to sort of just restart, right? And I think there's a kind of a sense of a restart.
Yeah.
But
obviously,
didn't they kind of touch on that before? Was that Age of Ultron where they tried to put a sanction on them because they you can't just. I'm like, yeah, you're fighting for us, but y'all destroying shit at the same time.
Yeah, that's where Civil War came from too.
Yeah.
The
Civil War.
Being
it was Civil War. It's like y'all destroying shit. Like y'all need to sit down.
Yeah.
So and you never as far as superhero movies and superhero cartoons and things like that, we had never seen it from that aspect. Yeah, you're fighting for us, but things are being destroyed and people are dying.
Right.
Yeah. That's another thing I applaud, man. Batman and Superman tried to touch on that too when they had Superman as kind of like a false god, like, hey man, you're not God, leave us alone. And Batman trying to fight him. I applaud that the superhero films of today are kind of trying to touch on that. Buildings are going to get destroyed. And as much as, you got CGI and everything, I'm sure if this happened in real life, there will be 1 million casualties.
Seriously.
There's buildings falling over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I want to talk about, I guess we can touch on the favorite moments, but that opening killed me, man.
I know, man.
That was one of the best sad openings of all time. With Hawkeye and his family.
It was rough because Hawkeye, he's been through it. Like, he already, he's finding peace. He had his family. And knowing Hawkeye, him losing his family, obviously he's already sort of has an anger issue as it is. But after losing his family, man, he just snapped. And I don't blame him.
I love his character trajectory as well. How I went from that to the final goodbye between him and Black Widow.
Oh, yeah, that was sad.
Yeah.
Dang, man.
I don't know how I feel about that sacrifice though. I'm like Black Widow. I feel like she got a long ways to go in this franchise. We could build on her some bit. I know she has an origin film coming out, but I feel like I
don't really want to see that though. But
well, you didn't want to see it?
Black Widow? No.
Oh.
I feel like it might have had more emotional impact if Hawkeye did it, but then again, we wanted to see him reunited with his family.
Right, he needed that win for sure. But I think at the sacrifice scene, I'm like, I knew it was going to happen when they went to the Soul to get the Soul Stone,
which is my man from the first Captain America, right? That's his spirit.
Oh yeah,
the villain.
Yeah.
So I knew it was going to happen, but again, I thought it was going to be Hawkeye that sacrificed himself because he just kind of seems like that type of guy who's, who would do it for the greater good.
All right. So y'all
he tried.
He tried. Yeah, he tried.
You don't think he tried hard enough?
He tried real hard. Like.
Yeah, he became a vigilante, didn't he?
For real. Yeah.
So they was saying.
Yeah, he did. He became a vigilante. But have you guys ever seen the show Manifest?
Wait, where the people skip time? They're on the plane and then
and it was exactly 5 years.
Oh,
Like
that was
they
true.
took a flight and then the flight landed 5 years later.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm like, does it have to be 5 years? Can it be 4? Can it be 6?
Yeah.
I like the 5 years later. I mean, I wouldn't mind if it was like three, 4, or 5. I just like that they had made that time jump, and I want to touch on the marketing of this film later and how social media played a part in it.
Yeah.
But do y'all just want to talk about characters and like what we thought what was the best of them and the worst of them in the film?
The best characters. I mean, for me, I was always a fan of Tony Stark's character.
Yeah.
And in this one, he had to make that sort of ultimate. Obviously, he sacrificed his life at the end, but
Right.
even when they brought up the whole, time warp, time jump thing, he had to look and say, "All right, I got a kid now. I got a 5-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
Will this?" His life was pretty much intact after the whole incident. Like he
Right.
didn't really lose anyone in his life that he that was important other than Peter Parker, but he had to take that selfless route and say, "Hey, I'm going to sacrifice, my comfort, my family, for these millions and billions of people who kind of lost their lives."
His father had the best line in that time jump when he was speaking to his father. He said, he says, I'm not the best guy because he says my self-interest has always to me been greater than the greater good.
Oh yeah,
Like, I think that was the best line of the movie because I was like, man, we inherit the sins of our fathers, or our mothers or whatever you want to say it, and Tony kind of had an idea like, damn, that's kind of how I feel in my day.
yeah, yeah. That was I didn't really think about that until you said it.
It's kind of breaking the chain right there with Tony Stark, giving his life.
Yeah, that's true.
So his daughter don't feel that way when she get older.
And I think you also felt the
That
sense
whole
of
part
closure.
was odd to me. I'm like, the
Which
shit
one?
was just in the suitcase, and he just went down there. They're like, "Hey, what are you doing down here?" Oh, okay.
Yeah.
you can have it.
I'm sure they probably ran into a few odd people in Shield. We got a cat down there that turns into an octopus, dog. Come on, man. Like, I'm sure Tony Stark ain't the only weird person in Shield.
Right. No, but I think the whole conversation he had with his dad back in the 70s. Yeah, I think that was a moment where you knew, like, all right, he's willing and ready to sacrifice himself. Like, that was kind of his closure. I think having that conversation with his father was like, all right, yeah, like, I understand, like, it's time for me to put aside my my selfish ways and sort of do stuff for the greater good. Just as you touched on.
Iron Man came full circle, and they said if you stayed all the way to the end, I didn't because there's no end scene, but you can hear the clunk of metal when Iron Man first made his shield, at the end of the credits, I think. So I thought that was pretty nice full circle thing there. So
I like Thor, like that whole development thing where he felt like he failed, so he kind of fell into a depression.
Yeah.
He drank and he didn't come out every once in a while. And it did, kind of talk about the displacement of the people of Asgard, how they kind of had to, make their own little city because their planet had been destroyed.
Yeah.
I like that too. I also like how even as he defeated his greatest enemy, he was still haunted by it. Like the name Thanos haunted him. And, Hulk was like, listen, man, you killed him, but, we still got some work to do here. Yeah. And I love how he passed the torch to Tessa Thompson's character. What's her name?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
I forgot her name, man. But I love how he passed the torch to her and let her be, queen of the land or whatever. I'm interested to see how he works with the Guardians. Him and Star-Lord. I'm interested to see that rapport.
I'm just glad we're getting more black superhero leads.
Yeah.
Yeah, Captain America is not going to be Falcon.
Captain America, man. He's the MVP.
Yeah, he was able to pick up Thor's hammer.
He was able to pick up Thor's hammer.
How? I
That's a
didn't read
good
the
question.
comic book.
I just think, because remember, it was back in the Avengers or the Avengers Age of Ultron where everybody was trying to, move Thor's hammer, and he was just enjoying it, and Captain moved it a little bit, and Thor got a little worried, like, hold up, wait, what? I think, just Captain America and Thor, they both got that power, and the hammer goes to the person who's worthy. Captain America, he's worthy, man, and he got his sweet ending in the end. He went back to Agent Carter.
Man, my favorite scene though was when they're at the battle scene, the final battle scene. My man, Doctor Strange opened up the portal.
Right.
All of the old characters disappear, came out, man. You saw Black Panther came. Oh my god.
Peter Parker came out. Him and Iron Man hugged.
When Black Panther came out, man, the audience was just like so happy, man.
Yeah,
like,
everybody started cheering.
And I'm telling you, that was when I shed that tear. My eyes just got a little watery on me. That was so good. Now the guy next to me, who was sitting next to me, you could hear him sobbing. I was like, dog. Like he was like hourly sobbing. I'm like, man, it's okay.
Dog, I mean, that final battle scene was so crazy. Like there was a dude in the audience next to me. He seemed like he was my age, but a little younger. Mm-hmm. Like in the middle of it all, when everybody was fighting, he was like, "Dog, this shit is crazy." everybody was hopping up and down in their seats and everything, and it was just like an amazing scene, man. Like that was probably one of the best battle scenes Marvel has ever directed.
Real. But I have to ask this question again because remember Peter Parker came back. He was telling, I don't know if it was telling Iron Man what happened. He was like, yeah, when he snapped his fingers, we all disappeared and we all faded away, but we were together. And Doctor Strange told us that we got to get back and find him or something like that. So when he snapped his fingers the original time in Infinity War, did they really disappear and go to a different dimension? Which I think they did. I don't think they sort of died.
I think they were dead, and when they came, it's
I thought they think they were dead, and then because he said that he snapped his fingers, and then I guess they said they woke up, and Doctor Strange was like, "Come on, it's been 5 years."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's also like when you go to sleep. You go to sleep and you wake up. I feel like they woke up from a 5-year sleep. Mm-hmm. And they just came back into it. I thought that was really well done there. I mean, you don't really need a lot of explaining there when you have like an epic blockbuster. It's like, okay, they were asleep, dead, whatever. They're back now.
Yeah.
So I give them a pass on that one. Let's talk about Hulk though, man.
Oh man,
he's just a wholesome, humble dude now. Bruce Banner. He's like, you know what? I accept my greenness.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
He's sitting at the Coney Island table eating like 10 eggs, 10 bacon. Just chilling.
Little kid, take a picture of him.
Right. Ant-Man's like, you know what? It's all right. You don't want to take a picture of me? It's fine. Okay.
I love Ant-Man's character though.
Yeah, I enjoy Paul Rudd.
Don't give him enough
but
credit.
he's always Paul Rudd though.
He is, right.
Ant-Man done came up. He done came up, man.
Yeah, but I think the Hawk, man, just his ability to accept himself, it was what he needed. I think that whole, I don't know, just probably maybe like a fear of sort of giving himself over to the Hawk when he was Bruce Banner. I think that's something that held him back. But again, he was able to perfectly mend the two, and it works. Hopefully he gets some more movies with that character.
I think Marvel kind of wrote themselves in the hole with inserting Captain Marvel in. Like, I understand why she's needed. I understand that she's probably the strongest, but I feel like she was like kind of those things where it's convenient for the screenplay for her to just come in out of nowhere. Like, okay, so everyone's down right now. Then out of nowhere, oh, look, Captain Marvel's in the sky and comes down and, just helps everybody. I'm like, okay.
And I was waiting for it to happen. I'm like, yeah, she's going to be here at some point.
Yeah, she's going to come at some point.
Right.
She came in the beginning.
Yeah, came in the beginning, then left for a minute. Then the raccoon guy, my man from Guardians, was like, yo, why you cut your hair?
Right.
She didn't even give him the explanations. She just said something sarcastic and just moved on. And
I wanted to know that too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the look for her. You know what I mean? She's kind of like, the punk rock superhero. It made sense to me.
Yeah. Maybe it's like after a breakup, they say people change their hair and stuff. Maybe it's like that, but instead of a breakup, it was like she lost this battle. I don't know. Maybe it's just like a change. You want to change. But that's kind of
Plus,
weird.
It's been 5 years, so.
It's been 5 years.
Everyone changes their look after 5 years.
Yeah, so, but what was the significance with 5 years? I mean, like I was saying earlier, it could have been 3, could have been 2, a year, 8 months.
Well, I think it adds emotional gravity to the superheroes. It's like, man, 5 years done passed. And like we dropped the ball. We dropped the ball, and then Ant-Man comes out, which to him felt like 5 hours, and be like, "Hold up, it's been 5 years, and we got a way to reverse this. Let's take our chance." It adds gravity, It adds Iron Man's daughter to be 5 years old. I feel like it is significant to have it be 5.
What did y'all think of the cameo, Stan Lee cameo? I know it was like very short. It was just when it went back to the 70s.
Make love, not war, or something like that.
Yeah.
He said. I mean, it's Stan Lee, bro. You know,
Yeah.
all his cameos are kind of like quirky and out of place. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was solid. You know, solid. I don't know if it's the last cameo, but I know they recorded a ton with him.
Yeah.
But it was a solid cameo.
All right. So what were some points of the movie where y'all think there were like holes in the plot or
So now we go into the plot holes.
things that could have been explained a little bit better? I know Shannon, you had a couple of.
Let me think. I know at the end, like everybody just went back to normal.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah,
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like, these people were gone for 5 years. Like, I'm not going back to school. Like,
That is true.
Like,
Well, they're
hold
the same
on.
age.
Can we heal first? Like,
Wait, if I know they're the same age, but it has still been 5 years. So some of them should have been older than others,
yeah.
right?
The way I mean, that wasn't really a plot hole
Like,
to me.
did his friend disappear
Yeah,
too? And that's why they're the same age?
yeah, they hugged each other. Yeah, I imagine that his friend disappeared too. Like the way I looked at it as everybody went to school to see if everybody else was still there. You know what I mean? Like, they probably had their moments with their parents and everything, but everybody went to school to see, oh, man, principal's still here. Teachers is still here. You know what I mean?
But what about those kids who didn't disappear? Now they older. Like, what do they do?
Yeah,
Right?
like Ant-Man's daughter.
Right, she's grown now.
I mean, well, that's the way it go. I mean, I don't think that's a plot hole. I think,
Did she go to school? Like, how did the planet disappear? Like, did they go to school?
I don't even know.
I don't know if that's necessary, but they probably did. I mean, it's been 5 years. I'm sure somebody probably stepped up and said, okay, I'll teach the kids who are still here. You know what I mean? They could probably make a mini series out of that or something, some inspirational Friday Night Lights type stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But one plot hole I saw, and shout out to Nicole, she kind of like talked me through it because I understood. When Gamora's sister shot herself, I was like, okay, so Gamora's sister should die now because she shot her past self. But Gamora's sister was still alive. And then Nicole said to me, like, well, you got to understand, she crossed the time boundary, so that probably puts her in that time and place in the present. So if she dies, the future Gamora won't die. The future Gamora's sister won't die. I don't know her name. So did that make sense to y'all?
It does. It does make a lot of sense. Because it's like once you get into the present, then you're now in the present, right? So
Right.
You're two different people, although you're the same. I can see it.
I'm confused on people who are dead. So Vision is dead, right?
Vision is dead because I think he died prior to
the snap. But
yeah.
so did Gamora, but she came back.
Yeah, because past Gamora crossed the time boundary. Because she didn't even remember Star-Lord. Star-Lord came up to her like, hey, baby. She's like, who are you? You know, like.
And did Gamora ever disappear? Because I feel like she.
No, she died. Because Thanos made her the sacrifice. He threw her off.
No, I'm saying like at the end when she came back, after they won a battle and Iron Man snapped people.
Was she on the ship?
Yeah, because I thought she was on the ship.
Got on the ship.
I think because they know, like, yo, she's one of us. We're not gonna have her disappear. She's one of us.
So basically, when you think it, then it comes to life. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but was she on the ship at the end? I didn't see. Remember when they all got on the ship, Thor and all the other Guardians?
I don't remember seeing her.
I don't remember her either, but I know she didn't disappear. Like, I think that was just, they just didn't put her on there. She was probably hanging out in the back or something.
I don't know.
No, that's too big of a plot hole.
Really, yeah, that's way too big. But I heard that she's gonna be signed up for the next upcoming films for Guardians. So Gamora's character, or Zoe Saldana.
Yeah.
So she's gonna be there. It's just sort of like how's she gonna fit into it?
Yeah, and Loki's having a series too, and he died, right?
But Loki, though, he in that scene where he was in handcuffs, he took what was it? Shoot. He grabbed something and disappeared.
Oh yeah, he grabbed a stone. But then they get it back from him. How'd they get it back from him? I forgot how they got it.
Oh, they got it back because they went to the 70s.
Oh, right.
They went back, so they went before where the stone was first seen.
Oh, that makes sense then.
But
So if
wait
Loki,
a minute then.
So was Loki still alive now?
So
he might be.
Because when he came to when they came to the present or whatever, this is before he killed Loki. This is before he killed Gamora. This is before he killed Vision. And if they put the stones back, then Vision would still be a thing, right?
Well, so the people that they brought back the people after Loki and Vision and them got killed. So they would still be killed. The only thing with Loki is that he grabbed the Infinity Stone when Iron Man fudged up and ran into old Hulk. Yeah. So he might still be alive.
And they didn't tell us how they got him back. Oh, they just
they went to the 70s.
Did it all over again.
Yeah, they went to the 70s.
Yeah.
No, remember when they lost it?
Yeah, they lost it,
when
but
Loki took it.
Yeah, I know, but after that, they had that conversation. It was like, well, now that Loki has it, how can we get it back? And then Captain America was like, well, we gotta go back to the 70s. That's the only way we can get them. So then that's when they went back to the 70s. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Hey, I love that little scene with Tilda Swinton and the Hulk, where she's on the rooftop talking to him, and she's like, Doctor Strange would never do that. He would never give away a Tesseract, like never give away an Infinity Stone. He says, I'm telling you, he did it. She says, okay, well, it might have been for a reason. Here you go.
Yeah, because it definitely was for a reason. Because, with Doctor Strange, because he played out all the scenarios in his mind, right? So obviously that was the only one where they would have to lose the battle to win the war, kind of type thing. Mm-hmm. And again, in hindsight, back in 2014, she wouldn't know that. So I guess she just had to trust and believe in what the Hulk was saying. But then it gives me takes us to a different point. So since she gave Hulk the stone, and then they continue to play out their timeline in 2014, when Doctor Strange then becomes the keeper of the stone, is there a stone?
Because Captain America.
Put him back.
Yeah, Captain America.
Because he put him back. Okay.
Yeah.
And speaking of the whole Captain American thing, so I know he went back in time and lived out his life, but isn't he can't age, right? So how does he get old?
Well, that was the 1970s, right? I mean, he's realistically at that age in that present time.
But I guess so.
But he can't age. Like he can't age. He can't get drunk. Right. He can't get hurt.
So how did he? How does he now?
Well, how do you know he can't age? He's been frozen for a long time. Remember?
Oh, that's true.
And
yeah,
the Avengers brought him back. I feel like he's aged since the first Avengers. Like I feel like he was probably at 30 and now he's at 35. You know what I mean? Or 30, 38. But going back in time, he lived out his life like as a regular dude. Still strong, but still regular.
Okay. And so, even though he went back, Captain America still existed because he can exist while Captain America exists at the same time.
So Captain America existed in the wartime. He was a symbol. Remember, he was a symbol for the war, and he fought in the war. So he exists as Captain America. But as far as the Captain America, that's that's like a hunk. Even in present day, that's like 100 something. That's like 70 or 80 years old. Yeah. He really looks like that now. So
I'm saying if he went back and decided not to become Captain America, wouldn't that change the course of all the other events?
Well,
that led to that day, or does he still exist? Because
I think he went back to after the war was fought, after the whole thing was done, after he was frozen and came back to Agent Carter's doorstep and said, "Hey, I'm still alive." You know what I mean? So I think everything happened, but he chose to live out his life just as Steve Rogers.
Okay. Because the reason I'm pointing back, because I know when they went back to like 2013 and they kind of saw the old Avengers fighting, they still exist within the same realm, but they just can't sort of meet each other because it's going to throw everything up. Well, Captain America met old Captain America at one point.
Yeah.
It's just kind of
I thought that elevator scene was funny because in the movie he had to fight him.
Oh, yeah.
But in this one, all he had to do was say
the Hydra.
Hell Hydra. And they let him walk off the elevator.
Yeah. And then Hulk was like, come on, man, let me get on, man. And they was like, no, stay right there. You gonna have us, fall all the way down to the first floor. Don't do it.
And then he ended up ruining everything at the end.
Right. What about Bucky, man? Bucky can't live all his life too. But I guess he's gonna be with Falcon in the new Disney show, so they're gonna be fighting together.
Yeah. I mean, but I think Bucky should live out his life too, but I don't know.
I think Bucky, he needs redemption. He wants to find redemption in the present day. He don't want to go back to the past because it's hard for him.
Yeah.
To go through all that again, being under Hydra, mind control. I understand. He probably doesn't want to go back to that day.
Yeah, that's true. So is that the end for Thor? Is Thor's character now kind of written off?
Thor is with
He's
Guardians.
gonna be part of the Guardians.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's with Guardians now. He's chilling.
So the only people who aren't coming back is going to be Tony Stark and Captain America.
Yeah.
Allegedly, I guess. Although I was reading some stuff where they said Tony Stark in the comic books he had a hologram of himself, and so he still exists. He recorded himself. I don't know how he did it as an AI, and that they kind of brought him back as like this artificial hologram that talks to him and sort of guides him.
Yeah, he has a new robot now, right? That took the place of Jarvis. Because I know he was talking to somebody. I don't know what her name was, but he has a new AI butler now.
Yeah.
I think Robert Downey Jr. is tired. He's almost 55.
He had his comeback,
like,
you know what I mean?
He's been doing it since, 2008?
Chris Evans tired, too.
2007?
Chris Evans is like, man, I need to get out of here.
Chris Evans still relatively young, though. He's, like, 36, 37?
Yeah, I know, but being in those Marvel movies, I think that take a toll on you, man.
He makes so much money.
Yeah.
Speaking of, they had a $1.3 billion opening, which is the most ever. I think for
and then like people ignore all your other stuff because he did. Wait, no, that was before Captain America. He did. What was that? Puncture.
Wait, there's a movie he was in Puncture.
Yeah, Puncture. And also he's in this great B movie thriller called Cellular with William H. Macy. Yeah, that's back when Chris Evans was like, you know, like the eye candy, but he was pretty cool because he was kind of like a fish out of water in that whole movie, and that was like the start of Jason Statham too. Chris Evans been in some solid stuff, man. You know, we ain't gonna talk down on Chris' name.
I mean, do you think like after you do these big blockbusters,
to Captain America,
right?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, has he done anything like while he was in Captain, like in the Marvel series, and we just didn't watch it?
He was in one like feel good movie with Octavia Spencer. I forgot what it was about his daughter or something.
I mean, but can you honestly do anything else?
Watched.
Like after Avengers, like what do you do next? I feel like you're always gonna be known as
dude. That's up
Captain
to your
America.
agent, man. That's up to your agent.
It's tough though.
If you got a good agent, they'll get you in the right role. Plus, TV is hiring all types of high level actors.
I guess, but I think just the general public, they view you as this one thing. You are gonna be forever this one thing.
Okay, I want to talk about one more thing before we get into the social media. Oh, look at us, we good on time.
Yeah.
So I love the ending where it's like the procession of like the Avengers from like present day to the past. Yeah. When the little float goes off in the water that has the thing that says proof that Tony Stark has a heart, you go from like Tony Stark's family to such and such to such and such, ending with Captain Marvel and Nick Fury. But you know that one kid, I didn't know who that teenager was at first, but that teenager was from Iron Man 3.
I read about that.
Remember
yeah,
the little boy.
The little boy. Yep.
That was awesome.
Yeah, because I think they said it shows that people outside of just the superheroes, you know, care for him. He made an impact in their lives, which is true. I kind of have this question. Do you think that Iron Man or Tony Stark is the most kind of integral character that Marvel has ever had? Like the most important?
He is at the center. Him and Captain America.
Yeah.
They're both at the center. So I'd say yeah.
Yeah, let's say, how do you move forward? Well, I guess that story's closed now. This chapter's kind of done.
Well, you got the new Avengers now, too. You got Black Panther, you know what I mean? You got Spider-Man. You got Captain Marvel. You got the new Avengers now. We got a new chapter coming on.
It's not going to be the same, though. It's not.
Oh, it's not, because I love RDJ.
Yeah.
But RDJ's going to be cool, man. He's a great actor.
For sure. Any other thoughts about the movie?
Anything else you want to talk about before we get into social media? Because I ran into some funny stuff, man.
Even though they were pandering with this scene, obviously, I did like the scene with all the women. When they all got together during the battle.
Yeah, that was dope.
Mm-hmm.
It was pandering, but it was good pandering. Y'all needed that scene. Come on now. Y'all needed that. Y'all wanted that. Oh shoot!
We need equal pay.
Right.
And yeah, that too. And Gwyneth Paltrow putting on the suit.
Put on the suit.
That was awesome. We forget to talk about that, man.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Like when did she? So in this 5 years, the plot hole. Did she train? Because you can't just step into this.
Yeah, because he made her a suit. Because remember the daughter was wearing the helmet. He was like, "Oh no, this is for your,
helmet.
yeah." He's like, "This is for your mother." So I think he already made her a suit and trained her and stuff.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, that doesn't need to be explained. I think he probably trained her.
Yeah.
Like, it's been 5 years. That's the best thing about screenwriting. If you take a 5-year jump, a lot of things can happen in that. That's up to your imagination.
That's kind of the truth.
You know, like, oh, I gained superpowers. I used to be a regular dude that worked 9 to 5. It's been 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, anything could happen.
So does this solidify Marvel as the greatest?
Listen, man, it's always been split, man. With the cartoons, I think DC is the best. With live action, of course.
For sure.
With live action, I mean, Marvel's killing it, but DC's making a comeback, man. You got Aquaman, Shazam. You know, I heard Shazam was awesome.
Yeah, I didn't see it yet, though.
Shayna, you say it's awesome, right?
Shazam was pretty good, but it's like it was more kid friendly because then I want to say the Avengers. It was more, enjoyable for younger kids.
I heard he's like the kid friendly Deadpool.
No.
Oh, like Deadpool was a little more.
At all.
Yeah. So I'm kind of interested as to where we kind of go next, because they obviously created the blueprint of making more money, because this was the highest grossing film ever, and for the debut.
They're gonna keep going, man. I mean, it's the possibilities are endless.
But if you keep going, when is it gonna get to the point where people are like, all right, I've seen enough of this. Like, what more can you do? Or do you think people are just gonna continue to feed into it? Is it like
there's a ton of
like a drug?
Continue to
feed into
it, especially due to nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like, I was in college when Iron Man came out.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, like I can't. And then I've seen all the other movies. Can't stop now.
That's true.
And then there's a lot of characters in the universe as well. You gotta keep that in mind. There's a lot of characters in those comics that you can like bring out. Like I heard they're still making that. I don't know if they're still making it, but they're supposed to be making a new Blade. It's supposed to be making a Gambit movie with Channing Tatum. There's a lot of characters out there, man.
Okay.
It's gonna be a minute before we hang up the suit. And plus we got the new X-Men.
When is that coming out?
I don't know, but it's Dark Phoenix. It focuses on Jean Grey, a young Jean Grey.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that. I saw the commercial.
All right.
I don't know if I want to see that.
All right, so social media was acting a fool. You had people putting out fake spoilers, man. Like before, when we were on our way to the theater, she didn't tell me about it, but my girl read a spoiler and she told me about it later. Like, y'all put y'all trust in Black Panther and he got killed twice. And everybody was going in on that guy until they found out it wasn't true.
Oh, so they're just trying to get a little ruse out of people, man. That's it. Well,
man, this is a whole new conversation, like about social media, because a lot of people, they do shit for attention, and they don't care what kind of attention that it is.
Right.
They don't care, that they're making people upset. Like, we saw the movie. Was there something in you guys that say, hey, I'm going to get on here and I'm going to spoil it for people that haven't seen it yet?
Definitely not.
I mean, we're kind of doing that right now, but it's okay.
No. But we gave a warning, though.
Yeah, we did.
People who are watching this.
We said it's going to be complete spoilers. It's, if you haven't seen it, turn the show off and then, go watch the movie, then listen to the show. But a lot of people, like, I was telling Anthony yesterday that how Twitter is, where you can mute words.
Yeah.
So I muted in-game, together and separate. I muted the hashtag. Like, I muted all kinds of things to avoid spoilers. And then one got through, but they spelled Captain Marvel wrong. It was a fake spoiler, like R.I.P. Captain Marvel. But then I saw another one that said R.I.P. Tony Stark, and they spelled Tony with an E, and it got through everybody's filter.
Shoot.
Listen, man. Hey.
Oh.
I
had dude, he's an
disrespect.
NFL player. So why did you do that?
Attention. So is he a famous NFL player?
I don't know. I don't watch football, so I don't know. But there's a lot of people like, I wish you tear your ACL and da 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 da. I think somebody posted a fight in the high school.
Wow.
Like, these two people were fighting. Like, oh, you just gonna spoil the movie?
Yeah.
Hey man, people ain't playing,
and he punched him in the nose.
I heard about somebody in China. Right after the movie, he told the people in line what happened. He just gave away the whole ending of it. And they beat the man down.
We can go even deeper.
They jump my man.
We can go even deeper. At the premiere in China, the film ended up on allegedly on the Fire Stick like the day after. Like somebody was recording in the theater, man.
Come on.
I'm like, dang, bro, this is like
the disrespect.
This film, like, whether you want to believe it or not, it is kind of like a cultural phenomenon. Like, you got people like my dad who ain't been to the movie in ages, like, yo, you seen that Endgame? I was like, yeah, I saw it. It was good.
Should have brought him on the show.
No, he's a comic book fan, so I think I'm gonna take my mom and him to see it next. But yeah, you got people like that don't even go to the movies, going like, dang, this is a big deal.
It is, man. It's the Super Bowl of Marvel.
It's 21 movies coming to this.
Yeah,
it makes sense. And now you got Star Wars, like, and I didn't know Star Wars was gonna do this, but this is like the last Star Wars movie. I mean, they'll make some side movies and stuff like that, but as far as the Skywalker saga, this is gonna be the last one. I was like, oh,
Thank
wow,
goodness,
really?
Man, I'm ready for it to be over. I'm just playing y'all for y'all Star Wars fans.
Yeah, I almost went off on you, but I'm a Star Wars fan. But yeah, man, this is a pretty dope year. You got the end of Game of Thrones, the end of Star Wars, and you got the end of the main phase of the Marvel universe.
We might as well just end the world, man. There's nothing else to do. Like, where can we go from here now?
No, I still got other shows.
I mean, because in the beginning, this was an experiment. This was an experiment made on the behalf of like Marvel Studios and Disney or whoever they were with before Disney, where it's like, okay, let's bring these characters from Marvel Comics and let's make them interconnected. Let's see where we can go with that. And we've come to here.
And that's kind of amazing to think. Like, over how many years? 11 to 12 years? They've been doing it? Probably more than that.
Spend some time.
I think it's like 11.
So over 11 years, they were able to make sure they were able to sync kind of all the plots up to this one point, which is kind of amazing. Like, loosely, not all of them kind of follow the same, general plots, but to draw those connections and kind of have it tell a story over an 11-year period, it's kind of awesome when you think about it, man. Like,
it is awesome.
That's nuts.
It's a grand scheme, and even bringing the shows into it, like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, which they. In dialogue, like, reference the Avengers. Like, I remember there was one guy in Luke Cage, I think it was Frankie Faison's character. It's like, man, you got green people running around climbing on buildings, and you worried about some thug in the hood. Like, like, it's a crazy world out there. Yeah. Yeah. Marvel, shout out to Marvel, man. But I think we can't discredit DC because they are doing their thing. I heard their shows are pretty good, too. It's just that their movies, they need a resurgence.
I've never really watched their shows.
I hear great things about Arrow, Supergirl. You watch any of those shows, Shayna?
I don't watch Supergirl. I stopped watching Arrow, and then I do watch The Flash.
Okay.
I do watch The Flash.
Flash was alright
Is
for a
Black
couple
Lightning
seasons.
a DC character?
It is.
Yeah.
I don't watch that. Okay, I don't watch that either.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of honestly prefer the Marvel television shows, like Cloak and Dagger. I'm just getting into.
Okay.
The Runaways. Have you seen those?
Not yet.
Pretty good. I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. What else? Agent
Coulson. Did y'all ever know they brought him back? Because he had died in the Avengers when Loki stabbed him, but then my man Nick Fury brought Agent Coulson back.
Man, I know that.
Yeah.
Nick Fury. Sam Jackson was.
He's a great Nick Fury. He does pretty good as Nick Fury. And Captain Marvel, it was a little strange to see him like kind of like, pepper and upbeat and all that.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the past, so it made sense. A cat clawing out your eye, I guess that would make you hardened.
Right.
But I don't know. You know what I mean? It was pretty great to see him like that.
Oh man. Let's see. What was the best? I don't know if we said the best character that y'all preferred or that y'all liked. I think we kind of alluded to it, but we never really got into like who was your favorite character.
My favorite character?
Yeah, in Avengers.
And I mean, Thor has some great moments, but I gotta put it down to like Iron Man and Cap.
Okay. What's the little raccoon's name? Shoot, what is it?
I knew I was gonna run into this.
I kind of like that character.
I don't want to say the wrong thing. I think I know.
I got you. Rocket Raccoon. Rocket.
Yeah.
Rocket. I'm like Rocket.
I like Rocket's character. Like, Rocket be throwing some wisdom out there, some nuggets of wisdom. And Rocket is kind of like the one that keeps all of them kind of grounded a little bit. Like, he helped Thor a little to an extent overcome his issues.
I want them to go into his backstory because I know he ain't been a raccoon all his life.
Right,
something happened to him. I need them to go into what happened to Rocket.
But he's like a space creature, though, right? So
yeah,
he probably was a raccoon all his life, unless he was like a raccoon that was then mutated by something that allowed him to talk. And who knows?
I gotta admit, man, I didn't like Gamora's sister even after she like become a little lighthearted. But I feel in this film like she kind of warmed up to me. I'm like, okay, she's warming up to me because I always felt like she was kind of like just straight up what she was, the annoying sister.
Right. For as much as a robot can warm up to you, I guess she has. Yeah.
Right, like I remember her and Tony Stark are playing the game in the beginning, like the little like paper football game. And what did she do? She did something aggressive, and then Tony was like, "No, you lost, okay,
right.
but we're gonna keep going. You know, it's okay."
Like, oh, you beat me. Yeah, that was really good. Shoot, what else?
I thought that was really impressive because I really thought that the Russo brothers had given us fake trailers to throw us off, like fake teaser trailers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember that one trailer where past Thanos gets off from that little like space thing, and like comes down to Earth, and I was like, well, now that I'm at this point in the film, and it's 5 years later, they probably don't have to fight Thanos again. Then they went back to the time jumper. Then we went back to past Thanos, which I thought was a great twist in the plot and hiding the stakes. Like, oh, they thought they could just kill me and that I wouldn't come back. And then past Thanos comes the present, and I was like, oh, man, that's great writing right there.
Yes, man. The great thing is that with a 3-hour movie, you can take little bits and pieces, and you still can't tell a story. Like,
right.
Which they did a great job of. I did appreciate, too, first off, do y'all think that Thanos, I still think that he has a good point. I half the population they can, if they disappear, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at all. Like, they can go.
I would be.
I mean,
Listen,
depends on who. If I can select who I want, like, all right.
I mean,
the rest of y'all disappear.
Even if you pick somebody that's mean, I'm sure that person has a family, and that person probably has like a brother or something like that that's innocent. That's probably gonna feel grief from that. But I feel like that's what I think their villains are starting to get better too. Like you go from like Ultron to like Killmonger to like Thanos. I think like we got villains here who have like justifiable reasons behind their decisions.
Yeah.
Like I think they're making like good villains here.
I mean, but Thanos' idea is really just like an extinction level event. Like after every extinction, whether it's the extinction of dinosaurs, there's sort of this rebirth, right? And it's an evolution of us, right? Evolution of the
You're right.
The world.
There's always mass extinction at some
but
point.
his new plan was just to kill everybody.
But because he was fed up because that was we wouldn't accept it, right? We wouldn't.
It's like, oh, y'all want to? All right, now I'm gonna take everybody.
Yeah,
you know.
And so he just did that because he was angry. But I mean, he does kind of have a point though. Like you have to, in order for us to sort of truly appreciate our world, each other, sometimes it takes an event like that, a catastrophic extinction level event. And so, yes, what he did was wrong, but I think he had good intentions. He said it. He never met ill will on anyone up until that point.
So who's the? I need to understand something here. We always need that sarcastic guy in the middle that was Iron Man. So Doctor Strange is taking that place because he has some sarcasm with him too.
I don't know. It's hard though.
He was kind of like another Tony Stark though, really, when you saw him in Doctor Strange, like with the sarcastic quips and all that. So I think he might be like the new kind of like guy.
It could be, and they're both extremely intelligent guys who arrogant. Right? I think so. That probably is the most logical person who I can see kind of taking over.
What are we going to do with War Machine here, man? Listen, I like Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle's the man, but I feel like War Machine, he's kind of just there.
I agree.
He's kind of just there, man.
He really plays no important role. Like
Falcon can fly.
I'm glad it's Don Cheadle and not Terrence Howard.
Right, man. Like Iron Man.
Terrence has some depth to him. Terrence has depth.
He does, but
he kind of messed up his deal, though. He messed up the deal behind the scenes, but whatever.
Yeah, Don Cheadle's character, he can go, man. I'm not the biggest fan. He just doesn't bring anything that's needed. Like we already got we had an Iron Man, so it's like he's doing the same thing.
But y'all don't think the same thing about Falcon?
Well, I think Falcon and Winter Soldier, they're both two halves of the same whole. I think they both together replace Captain America. I think they both fit each other well. It's like Outcast. You know what I mean? I feel like they're Outcast.
Yeah.
I like Falcon. Falcon's cool.
It's all right. I don't see him being. I just can't see him picture him being Captain America for some reason. But.
So if Vision is dead, then how are they gonna make a show called WandaVision about Scarlet Witch and Vision? So is she gonna make a new Vision? That's one thing I'm confused about.
Maybe Vision isn't dead.
Maybe he's not.
Like we said, maybe he's.
Then what is that gonna be? Is that like a rom-com or something? Like, why am I watching that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I don't know, man. But anything to sell more or get more money, man. They all for it.
Right. So I feel like Black Widow. She did her thing. She was the MVP. But a lot of people didn't put respect on her name. Like some people I know, I ain't gonna put their names out there. But they was like, "Wait, who's she?"
Nicole.
I'm like, that's Scarlett Johansson's character, Black Widow. She started in Iron Man 2. Oh, she was important.
Oh, dang.
And I'm like, man, what?
Black Widow, she held them together for those 5 years. Like you could tell she was weighing that burden. She had that burden heavy on her chest. She was sort of able to keep them together. She played an important role. I think
she was the first woman in the whole series to not be about no bullshit.
Right. And looking back on it, that shows you how much like that meant to her because she didn't have any other family. Like it was pretty much just her. Yeah. And so she was willing to lay her life on the line, for everyone else. So I appreciate Black Widow's character.
Hey, that Star-Lord scene was great when we saw him dancing to his music.
That was funny.
War Machine looking at Gamora's sister like, so he's an idiot, right? Just knocked him upside the head and just walked right past him.
Yeah, Star-Lord and Ant-Man are just like, they're the same person.
They need to be buddies.
They need to be.
Ant-Man should have got on that ship and been like, hey, man, I'm bringing my girlfriend and my future father-in-law with y'all. We getting on this ship.
Could you imagine the movie with them two, though? Oh, my God.
They be riffing off each other. That's Paul Rudd and Chris Pratt, man. They'll be riffing off each other.
I'd pay any amount of money to see that, for sure. When Wasp came back, when Wasp returned, I felt a little emotional, too. I felt a little. I was excited. I was happy that she returned.
That wasn't bad CGI for a young Michael Douglas.
Oh, I was shocked.
What did they do with the anorexic Iron Man? Like, I'm like, is this CGI? Because he looks like frail.
Yeah.
He looks like he hasn't been eating.
Well, again, 5 years. 5 years you can work out and
Oh no! But I think she's saying like, how did they make him look so small?
Oh, okay. I don't know, man. That probably was some good CGI.
Yeah, because he looked sickly. No, they did a great job though. Also, speaking of CGI and people looking younger, this is kind of like an aside. Did y'all see the Will Smith
Gemini Man? I mean,
I saw that preview.
That's strange to me. I don't know.
It's strange, but Ang Lee, who's a good director, he's making it, so I might be down for it. Y'all know how I feel about Will Smith and the blockbusters. We need a resurgence, man. I'm waiting on that Bad Boys for Life. We need a resurgence.
I'm not looking forward to that. Martin Lawrence looks unhealthy.
But he's still funny.
He looked real unhealthy though.
He looks very unhealthy.
I'm like, you okay, Martin? Like, you good, bro? Dang.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. I mean, I am not like the whole Will Smith need to come back. We need new black stars.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you can't tell me once in a while you don't feel like, all right, let's get that new Denzel film. It's been a minute. Let's get that new Denzel.
Right.
Every once in a while, but not all the time.
Well, I mean, we've had a bit of a down slope. I mean, Bright was not too long ago, but we ain't had that good.
I enjoyed Bright.
I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it, but we ain't had that good in the movies Will Smith blockbuster in a while.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. We need it.
I'm hoping this is it. These next two movies he got.
Aladdin.
Nah, definitely not Aladdin.
All right, so
I'm not interested in that.
All right, y'all.
Or Lion King.
Yeah, I'm still gonna see a Lion King. I think that might be dope. All right, y'all. So final words. I just thought it was a great finale, man.
Yeah.
It was 3 hours of great epilogue. Everything was resolved nicely. Marvel lives on. Wakanda forever.
Yep.
What do you think, Eric?
Same for me, man. I highly enjoyed it. I think that, again, just seeing it tied together, this whole story, the Avengers storyline, coming to a close. It was sad. I almost shed a tear. But it was one of those things where I truly, it makes you nostalgic and truly makes you appreciate sort of the greatness of what they were able to accomplish over this time.
It brings the kid out of you, too.
Yeah.
Shayna?
It was Wakanda for 5 minutes. But yeah, overall I did enjoy the movie. It was great, and I am going to go see it again.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was a great episode. Give feedback, give reviews. Again, well, if you listen to it by now, then you just got spoilers thrown at you.
Right.
But we hope you enjoyed the movie. We hope you enjoyed our review. Have a great one.